Joining me now is retired Air Force Special Operations Commander Major Glenn Ignazio. Major, I just read a list of new information that's coming out, potential intel. It sounds troubling, I think, to the average American person. Given your experience and background, what's your biggest concern with some of that intel coming out? Even what Vladimir Putin has said, and what do you think it says about his long-term intentions here?
Well, first, let's take a look at the missile. All right, so the missile says that you can't defeat it. I question that because it has to be launched, it has to be taken to the air by some reason, and we train to do that. So any kind of launch from air, sea, or land is going to be detectable, and it's not really some kind of special stealth. So I don't understand why he says it can't be impacted or caught. That's one thing. The second thing is being nuclear powered. We actually looked at technology like this even in aircraft post World War II, and the reason why we don't do it is if there's a faulty launch, he just radiated his own country, and at the same time, it does have dangers as far as that type of capability and propulsion, and so you probably have to shoot it down over the ocean. So that's the missile technology. But as far as all these forces being amassed, he's definitely putting a line out there and trying to detract from what is happening in Ukraine and what happens in Russia, and putting a formidable force out there to push back against NATO and focus on NATO versus the Ukraine conflict.
Do you think there's any chance he is just posturing in some sort of fear, given that the Ukraine-Russia war has gone on for 3 years? Russia has made some progress there, but not anything significant. To then really outline a potential attack or even posture of attack on NATO seems a little far-fetched, or not?
Well, I mean, he's definitely pushing it to escalate this thing. I mean, originally it was just special operations in Ukraine. And over time, if you look at it, even internally in Russia, he's turned it to say that it's against NATO, that NATO wants to invade Russia. So there's a lot of propaganda there. But yes, he is moving forces. And we've seen drones and aircraft actually penetrate for a long time inside of NATO countries. So there's definitely pressing and escalation there. And it's just one mistake that could kick this off to something bigger between NATO and Russia. And that's what always concerns me, and I'm sure it concerns a lot of others.
Yeah, we are seeing the U.S., right now try to implement sanctions, maybe halt Russia from the idea of what it's trying to do here, and even this posturing. I want you to take a listen to what Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent said today about new Russian oil sanctions.
I think Russia is going to feel the pain immediately. The Russian economy is a wartime economy. Growth is virtually zero. Inflation, I believe, is over 20%. And everything we do is going to bring Putin to the table. It's oil that funds the Russian war machine, and I think we can make a substantial dent in his profits.
How close do you think we are to a nuclear crisis, and do you think that these sanctions will help reduce that risk, or is it a little too late?
Well, it's sort of split into two. So economically, absolutely right. He sees more than we do. But yes, Russia is definitely damaged from the economics of what the oil is. But we have to look at the top three. That's China, India, and actually Turkey. India mentioned about cutting back, which will damage it. Turkey being a NATO country, if they can back this up, it'll damage Russia more. And then China is the hardest one to pull back from. But if they can crush that, they literally could have an internal, lack for a better term, weapon that can pull Russia out of Ukraine. But militarily, that's not going to change things. Does this get us closer to a nuclear option? No, I don't think so. But the one thing is you'll hear Medvedev, who is in power for a while in between Putin, and he is the one that's always ratcheting and saber rattling the nuclear threat. So he's the guy that really gets people fired up, and if he can just sort of be squeltered, great. But as far as nuclear, I think that's the threat, but I hope that we never get anything close to that.
Thank you for watching. Subscribe below and download our NewsNation app right now on your phone, and you will get fact-based, unbiased news for all Americans.